All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're going to break down a really crucial part of workplace safety in India, the Internal Complaints Committee, or the ICC. Now, this is a body that's legally required under the POSH Act, and it's meant to be your absolute first line of defense against harassment at work. So let's pull back the curtain and see how it's all supposed to work.
But first, let me ask you something. If you or a colleague faced harassment at your job, would you know exactly what to do? Who to go to? For a lot of us, that answer is a little fuzzy, but it shouldn't be. That first step, that first line of defense, is the ICC. And knowing how it works is just essential for everybody.
So what is this thing, really? Well, simply put, the ICC is the official group inside your company that's set up to handle complaints of sexual harassment, and their job is way more than just listening. They're there to conduct a full, formal investigation and then recommend what actions the company should take. It's meant to be a complete system for sorting these things out right inside the organization.
Now, for the ICC to actually do its job right, it has to be built in a very, very specific way. You can think of it like putting together a specialized team, where every single member has a unique and really important role to play in making sure the whole process is fair.
Okay, so first things first. Every good team needs a strong leader, right? And for the ICC, that role is called the presiding officer, and the law is incredibly clear about who this person has to be.
This isn't a suggestion, it's a rule. The presiding officer must be a woman, and she has to be a senior-level employee at the company. There's a really clear reason for this mandate, and we'll circle back to that in just a minute.
All right, so you've got the leader. Joining her are members from inside the company. These are the folks who really bring that internal context, that day-to-day understanding of the workplace into the investigation.
The committee has to have at least 2 of these employee members, and the law suggests that, ideally, these should be people who are already committed to women's causes, or maybe they have some background in social work or even law. These aren't just random qualifications. They're meant to equip the committee with the expertise to handle these really sensitive issues properly.
And here we have the final piece of the puzzle, and this one is absolutely critical for the whole thing to be credible and fair. To make sure that no internal bias can creep into the process, the law says you have to have an external voice on the committee.
So this external member, they have to come from an NGO that works on women's issues, or they have to be someone who is an expert on sexual harassment. Their entire job on this committee is to bring that unbiased third-party perspective, to make sure the investigation isn't getting swayed by any internal company politics.
So when you put the whole team together, you've got the presiding officer, you've got at least 2 employee members, and you have that one external member. See how this combination creates a structure that is specifically designed to be balanced, to be knowledgeable, and most importantly, to be impartial?
Okay, so you might be thinking, wow, those are some really specific rules. And you're right, but this isn't just about bureaucracy or ticking boxes. There's a powerful logic behind every single requirement, and it's all aimed at making the whole process more effective and more just.
The logic is actually pretty clear when you look at it. For example, why insist on a senior woman as the presiding officer? Well, the whole idea is to make the committee feel more approachable for women who need to file a complaint. And that external member from an NGO, their role is basically to bring in that objectivity, that fresh set of eyes. Every rule is a deliberate piece of a much bigger puzzle.
Now, beyond who's on the team, there are 2 simple but absolutely critical numbers that everyone, both employees and employers, really ought to know. Think of these as the non-negotiable ground rules of the ICC.
First step, the number 10. Any company, any organization with 10 or more employees is legally required to have an ICC. That's it, no exceptions. If your company has 10 people, it needs to have this committee.
And the second number is 50%. At least half of the ICC's total members must be women. This isn't just about optics. It's a rule that guarantees a balanced gender perspective is part of every single inquiry. It's about making it a more equitable forum.
So, why does any of this really matter to you, whether you're just starting your career or you're running the company? Because a properly functioning ICC, it's so much more than a legal checkbox. It's a fundamental pillar of a healthy, safe workplace.
For employees, it provides a clear, formal path to get justice, one that's structured and impartial. For employers, it's not just about staying out of legal trouble. It's about actively building a culture where people feel safe, where they feel respected, and where everyone is held accountable. When it works the way it's supposed to, everybody wins.
And all of this leaves us with one final big question. It's one thing for a company to have an ICC on paper. It's another thing entirely for that committee to be truly effective. So the question to think about is this: is the ICC in your workplace just present, Or is it truly empowered to create the safe environment that it was designed for?